We do not seek to reopen old wounds, we seek to heal those wounds. We do not seek division, we seek justice and understanding and reconciliation grounded in the truth.
Africa is demanding reparations from the West right now, pushed forward by Ghana's President Mahama to the United Nations itself. In this video, I will prove why that demand will never be paid unless Africa learns one lesson, a lesson Donald Trump just exposed through his peace deal with Iran. So before Donald Trump's deal with Iran, Africa had already pushed this further than any reparations campaign in history. Just to catch you up quickly, in March 2026, the UN General Assembly voted on a resolution Ghana itself wrote, declaring the transatlantic slave trade the gravest crime against humanity. It passed 123-3, with only the United States, Israel, and Argentina voting no. 52 countries also abstained, including the United Kingdom and every member of the European Union. 3 months later, Mahama did not stop at that vote. He brought more than 80 countries to Accra, this is just a few days ago, alongside the African Union and the Caribbean community, and they signed a 19-point declaration demanding formal apologies, a global reparations fund, debt cancellation, and the return of looted artifacts. Mahama then split the follow-up work into 3 groups, one of heads of state, one of the actual mechanics of reparations and restitution, and one purely on the legal case. So the declaration would not just sit as a piece of paper. This was and is the most coordinated, best documented case for reparations that any continent has ever built, backed by the UN vote, which was the majority despite those few countries voting against it or abstaining altogether. This is a signed declaration and a working structure designed to make this reparations bill stick. That same case, the most coordinated one ever built, is exactly what makes what happened next so revealing. Emmanuel Macron, of all people, actually addressed the summit that Mahama organized for all of this to be signed. And he talked about truth, about saying out loud what happened, about reparations starting with acknowledgement. He did not mention anything about paying any reparations, even as France keeps extracting billions of dollars a year in their colonial or neo-colonial profit machine called the CFA franc system, which still controls over 14 African nations. Months after the vote and the summit, the United States and the United Kingdom have still not responded to a single one of the 19 points. Out of every nation that built its wealth on the Atlantic slave trade, France, Britain, Belgium, Portugal, and Spain amongst them, only the Netherlands has said anything at all. And what they said was, "We are sorry." 80 nations agreed on what justice should look like. And the only thing the West agreed on was how to avoid saying anything at all, except for the Netherlands. So why would 80 countries, a UN resolution, and a signed declaration add up to nothing? The answer to that question just played out in the war between Iran and the United States. I just want to say a quick thank you to those of you that have joined my Substack. Some of you are paying members, some of you are free members. I appreciate you all. If you're out there and you haven't yet joined, the reason why you might want to do that is to help keep this message alive. You see, some of my videos get demonetized, and some of the people that talk about the subjects I talk about actually get banned altogether from YouTube. So joining Substack allows us to have an email relationship that YouTube, Google, nobody else can own, just between us. So if anything ever does get shut down regarding this message of sovereignty for Africa, we can regroup quickly and get back to making content that helps lift up the continent of Africa. Link is in the description. Thank you. So here's my attempt to explain why I believe none of this will come to anything, whether you are for this or against it, unless some drastic changes take place. Whether you think reparations should happen or not is actually beside the point altogether here, because the injustice has never actually directly meant someone is guaranteed reparations. What actually guarantees it is leverage. And the truth is, Africa right now just doesn't have leverage. Let's look at the clearest proof of this leverage that I'm talking about. Germany has paid Israel and Holocaust survivors more than $90 billion since 1952, and it still pays some reparations to this day. In 2026 alone, Germany allocated over $1 billion just for home care and aging survivors. That relationship did not just start because of guilt alone. Guilt is not enough. It happens because Israel has the global leverage to enforce that payment from Germany, whether they like it or not. There will be repercussions, whether you think it's legitimate or not. And in this case, let's not get my words misconstrued. I actually think this is legitimate. Now, let's look at the case of Palestine. Is Palestine going to get reparations for the alleged genocide that many groups and countries believe Israel is inflicting on Gaza? Well, probably not, because they don't have the leverage to enforce anything. They don't even have the ability to convince the necessary powers and groups that they have a legitimate case for genocide. I saw an interview this morning. Someone was talking about genocide, and the person interviewing said, well, it's not been officially recognized as a genocide, but, whatever you want to call it, hundreds of thousands of people have died. All while Israel is still able to pick up an essentially permanent bill from Germany, ongoing in perpetuity into the future. God knows when that will end. Let's look at what's happening right now between Iran and the United States. They have agreed to pay $300 billion in seized assets. Maybe you don't want to call it reparations, but it's money that the United States is controlling that they don't want to have to pay, but have to pay in the heat of the moment when they are most raw about this conflict. They're paying. Why? Because Iran has leverage. They have the geographical leverage over the Strait of Hormuz, and the whole world wants to see it open. America couldn't beat them with their mighty military. They couldn't push them off their square. They couldn't outmaneuver them. So, hey, you know what? For what you did, killing those 168 girls in that school, you have to pay money. You have to help us rebuild our nation after the conflict that you instigated. That is leverage, whether you want to call it reparations or not. There's a lot of bluster, a lot of frustration from MAGA supporters and Democrats in the United States on the news. Doesn't matter. The leverage will make sure it happens. Otherwise, those guys will close up the Strait of Hormuz again, and the global economy will be in the toilet. America doesn't have to even agree that what it did was wrong. It doesn't have to even acknowledge it. There's no UN vote. Hey, if this isn't done, we're going to be in big problems. Africa just doesn't have that leverage. The thing is, though, that Africa could have that leverage if it wanted. It could group together as a continent and say, hey, we are going to choke the world of the minerals that is needed from the continent. Some of those minerals which are only found in the continent, or at least the vast majority of it, are only found in the continent. The Strait of Hormuz controlled 20% of the oil market. Well, just in cobalt alone, the African continent controls 80% of the world's supply. What would that do? That would stop electric cars, that would stop AI, that would stop all kinds of industries that need this precious metal. But Africa is too divided to make this unified stand. What happens? We get picked off one by one, individual separate African countries, where the United States can negotiate this and France can negotiate that, and leverage can be applied here and minerals can be extracted there. Essentially, so that we can continue fighting amongst ourselves, we give up all the leverage the continent could have to gain reparations. And even if you didn't get reparations after that, everything that you could leverage off the back of controlling the flow of resources would earn money more than enough to see Africa prosper indefinitely into the future. I think it's interesting how we have to group together, go to the United Nations, vote, wait for 5 or 6 countries that have the main sway of all of this and hold the main money for the reparations to see if they will actually acknowledge or not. Of course, they don't acknowledge. It shows how the institutions do not favor the global south. This also shows up in the United Nations Security Council, where there is no veto vote. And these same groups of countries can decide, even if 100 other countries vote to one way, one country from that group with one veto vote can end all of this. And here's the other madness. There's more of our global south countries than these small controlling countries. What would the leverage be if we banded together in the global south, which also happens to be the global majority, and said enough of this? You can't just gaslight us and tell us we were moral or immoral, or make a loophole or a hierarchy, which is the excuse that Macron has used for not voting in the United Nations. He said that it creates a hierarchy of crimes, and that's why we can't actually come on board with voting. But we think you're right, though. Mr. Macron, can we have some money? Let's just start with the dialogue. It's a slap in the face. There's a saying that I heard that I think rings true here. You never get what you deserve in life. You only get what you have the leverage to negotiate. That's a rule in business, and that is the same rule guiding this situation right now. I'm not here to debate whether you think we should or shouldn't have reparations. All I'm here to say is get the leverage and you can decide to get reparations even if you're not due them. Which again, I'm not saying that's how it should be done. I'm just saying that's the way the world works. I think it looks quite weak when you turn up cap in hand saying, please, would you give us some reparations? I would much rather prefer the Iran style, the stoic, hey, we're going to shut this down unless you give us what we want. There is some good news that comes out of all of this. The continent seems to be unifying. The continent seems to be waking up. The information is out there. And there are those that are putting together what Africa needs to have leverage. I made a video about one of these such people, and I put that video here on the screen for you to watch next. You're going to enjoy it. I'll see you over there next. Peace.